MyFire. We are very, very excited to show you what is coming soon and actually what you currently have in MyFire today. So this will be a transformative session that will help not only you in the classroom but also students as well. So I will give it away to Kylie and David from D2L.
Hi! My name's Kylie. I'm a training coordinator, so there's a chance that I've emailed you in the past either for MyFire support or if I've enrolled you in training courses or something like that. I'm Kylie, and I am in charge of making sure you guys feel comfortable in MyFire and that you feel like you have all the tools you need to teach your students. So I'm really excited to show you all of the new things that we have coming. We've been working on some of these for a while, and we just think that they're going to be really beneficial to you guys and to your students.
And I'm David. I'm from D2L. I'm a senior solutions engineer from D2L. I think this is my third time on campus at SEU, and I just love seeing more and more of the campus every time I come and meeting a bunch of new faces. So like Dr. Ford this morning said, she does not typically get to talk about features and functions. She talks about more so the pedagogical impact and the academic portions of everything. I like to talk about the features and functions, but I've been in education for over 15 years, so I do love blending that with the pedagogy as well. So I'm very happy to kind of be here to support your MyFire team, and I'll be showing some of those awesome features and functions that we're going to be rolling out to you this upcoming academic year.
All right, so let's get started. So something that is really exciting is our new content experience. So this is something that is going to be launching in the spring term, and what it is a new view and navigation of the content and assessments page in your MyFire course. So that page that you go to and students go to navigate through those modules and look through the course content, see the assignments. The look and feel of that page is going to be changing. So let's just walk you guys through a little bit of that. So what is changing with the new content experience? So the biggest things that are going to be changing are navigation, grading, content creation, and also some changes to the student view as well.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you turn that front light off? It was just kind of...
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know which one it is.
Just place it again.
There you go. There we go.
Good call.
Hopefully that helped. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so navigation. So some key things that are going to be different in this new content experience. Currently, the verbiage for what we now call modules is units. Now, this is something that we're still working with and working on what exactly those are going to be called in MyFire, but just so that you guys are aware, there might be a change to what the verbiage is for those. So if you're adding a new module in your course, it might say new unit. So just being aware, if you see those changes, a unit is what we are currently calling a module. Something else, I think the biggest thing that I'm really excited about is assignment, discussion, quiz details are all now visible on the content and assessments page. So if you click on an assignment, you're going to be able to see the instructions right there on the content and assessments page. You're not going to have to go out to the separate page to see the instructions, the grading details. The rubrics are going to be there as well. And this is something that the students are going to be able to see too. Another thing is release conditions are going to be visible. So currently, if there is a release condition on a module, it might not be very clear that there is something that might be preventing students from seeing a content. With this new change, there is a little icon that we can point out in our demonstration that will make it a lot easier and clear to see that this module has release conditions on it. So if students come to you and asking why they can't see something, you'll be able to know a little bit easier. These need to be completed before they're able to see content. Creating content in your courses is going to be a little different as well. If you've ever created an assignment or a discussion or quiz in your course, creating a new unit or module now has a very similar step process. So if you select create a new unit, you'll be able to see a place where you can add a title, add a description for your unit or module, and then you can also add availability dates and release conditions. And we'll be able to show you these things as well in our demonstration. Something else that we want to make sure is emphasized is that in this new content experience and with a lot of the new tools that we're going to be using, adding content items as individual topics is very important. Another thing that is changing, that is a big thing, is grading. So with this new update, you'll be able to grade your students right from the content and assessments page. So you'll be able to view evaluation criteria and rubrics right on the content and assessments page, view student submission information, and also select links to view and grade student submissions. Overall, the student view is very similar to the instructor experience. The assignment, discussion, and quiz details are visible. The submission status is visible to students. The assignments and quizzes can be submitted directly from the content and assessments page, and students will need to select a link to complete discussions and surveys on a new page as well.
Awesome. Well, I know that's a lot. I'm just going to turn up the brightness on here if that's okay for you. I know that's a lot, but I'm going to show you how a lot of features on there actually translates to a very easy and intuitive experience for you as faculty and for students. That's actually why they developed the new content experience, but I want to give a little asterisk there to the new content experience. We've actually had this content experience for about 7 years now. So it's not necessarily new, but we have been building on that experience to bring newer features to it so that you actually have enhanced capabilities in this experience rather than the one that you're currently using, as we would call legacy or classic. It still works fine, but we're really building in to the content experience, this new content experience, a lot of easy to use, easy entry point features. So whether you're a seasoned faculty or an adjunct coming in for a semester or two, you'll be able to come in, use Brightspace in a very easy way. Now what you'll notice on the screen here is that I already have some content built within this, and as Kylie was mentioning, the naming structure on the left-hand side here, you've got your units. They are easy to be able to move around. You can see they're intuitive. You can basically drag these units up and around if you want to move them in place. You can actually pull in different content objects from different locations in that as well. So if I did have, say, some sub-content I wanted to move from Unit 3 to Unit 2, I can easily drag and drop that. But what you end up seeing here is the table of contents along the left-hand side, and you get a content preview on the right-hand side. Now, you're probably wondering why Unit 1 is all about SEU worship. I'll give you just a little anecdote here from my life. I'm a Christian. I very much did not know about Christian education until probably just a few years ago, which is shocking, but I'm from Canada, so they didn't really have many Christian colleges or universities up there. I was listening to my morning worship playlist a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden I'm like, what is this song? And I look at it and I saw SEU worship. I'm like, that can't be that SEU that I'm going to in a couple weeks. And so I messaged my colleague Rosalind, who is also a Christian, and we share that bond together. And I'm like, did you know SEU has a worship team? And they actually have this awesome number of over a decade worth of that. So I decided to use SEU worship as my content for today, just because I was so excited about that, and I thought it was pretty neat. Anyways, that's my aside. What I hope to show you today is how easy it is to navigate through this and some of those awesome features. So as Kylie was mentioning, what you're able to do here from the content perspective is you can see this, you can see the live content on the side and scroll through it. Right, so this is just the overview of that content page with the description. But if I wanted to dive into some content, you can actually see this on the right-hand side here. And it is fairly easy to go in and modify and edit. Now there used to be this button in the classic content that I want to say says upload or something with files, and then you get that giant long list and you're like, what do I pick from there, right? We have streamlined that to make it very easy, and it's basically 2 big buttons. Can anyone guess which 2 big buttons those might be? Okay, add existing and create new. Awesome. So if you were to add existing, what do you think you'd be doing there?
Look at stuff that's already in the course, like reads, like quizzes and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if there's something that already exists, you can add it in there, right? So whether that be something like a quiz that might already exist and you want to add a quiz directly in there, you get a much more visual interface here, much easier to see through, and I'm not just looking at the words there, right? So I can pull something from Google Drive, OneDrive, I can pull in my external tools if I'm using LTI or third-party tools, and I can pull in, say, those assignments, discussions, and quizzes. So if I do have an assignment that exists already, all I have to do is add in that Unit 1 assignment. I know it's already in there, so I'll pull in Unit 3 assignment just for fun. And you can see it's very easy, shows up nice there with our beautiful icons that show the distinction between the different activities. So I've got a content page icon right here, I've got an assignment page icon right here, and you can actually even see some of those due dates to help learners stay on track, and to help you as a faculty member know what is coming due inside those courses. Now, one of the best enhancements to this content experience is we don't want you to have to go out to find the discussion or to find the quiz or to find the assignment in order to go grade those. So as Kylie had mentioned here, what we actually do is we bring that right at the point of contact, or right at the point of content. So if a learner has submitted something already, what I get to go do as a faculty member is right inside the content, inside Unit 1, where I've reviewed the content, here's the assignment. I can see how my learners have actually gone through and submitted work. I can see up-to-date progress on them. And if I want to go in and evaluate, it's one click of a button in order to be right inside that assignment grading window. So we're taking those different pathways for you to get to the grading and streamlining them so that you don't have to go searching for what's needed to be submitted. It's all right in one place. When I want to head back to that content, again, very easy to jump back in here. Now, another aspect of this would be, we've got the add existing, but what if we wanted to create something that's new? Very similar. If we want to create either a folder to have multiple pieces of content underneath there, or if you want to just create a random page, you can absolutely do that. But again, one of the nice things is you don't have to create an assignment from the assignments tool and then add it in. You can actually create that assignment right in line here. And the way that we've designed this new content experience, if you know how to create an assignment, you will also know how to create a discussion. You will also know how to create a content page, because the interface for this has been designed to be familiar. So if I want to come in here and create that page, you'll notice the interface looks nearly identical. What you end up getting is this title here, if there's a due date you want to have a date associated with, and then you've got your content that you can now start building. The drop-down menus are along the right-hand side, change depending on the tool, so you can focus on who might have access to this and when. So for example, if we want to add in those release conditions we were just mentioning, maybe I want to create this release condition to be dependent on receiving a grade on that assignment. So we'll say a score on, actually we'll just say submitted to the assignment, and we'll say Unit 1 assignment, create that release condition, and I'm just going to say sample blank page, because I am very creative right now. Okay? So I'll save and close that, and what you'll notice now is in our content experience, what we should see is an additional little piece of iconography that we're using. So first of all, this hidden status allows us to see which pieces of content are not visible at all to students. If I make that visible though, you actually see that there's a little eyeball with a gear. You might not be able to see that. Let me zoom in for a second. So right there, you end up seeing that little piece. That means that it's visible, but only if conditions are met first. And so those conditions can be seen right inside here. If they've submitted to assignment unit number 1, now they have access to that. So again, it makes it much more easy for you all to know what is coming due and when. From a student view, we get a very similar look and feel, but what 2 buttons do you think are not going to be there? That's right, create new or add existing. They shouldn't be able to do that. But they have a very similar streamlined experience for how they can go in and view that content. Now this can be, again, you can truncate those or kind of close up that accordion. You can see the completion status for every learner. So they can see if they viewed the content on the left-hand side. I'm just gonna zoom in so you can see that a little bit. So you can see that these have been completed. This is actually an assignment that I have submitted, right? So learners can know and keep track for themselves how they've been going through the course materials. And then finally, I want to show you this with the assignment submissions. Now, this is an assignment that's already been submitted, but again, learner doesn't have to go to the grades tool or the assignments tool and find the particular assignment. What they're able to do is just go right into the content, find where in context for their learning that assignment was, and then they're able to see their grades, their feedback, all in the same view so that they can continue on with their learning rather than jumping out to a new tool. The content tool in the new content experience has been really streamlined to provide a superior experience for both you faculty and learners. I'm sure we go into much more detail, but for now we'll toss it back over and look at something else.
Yes, any question?
Yeah, I
Big
have
clap for that.
yeah, all right, can you go back to where to the My Fire? All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
at existing, all right, so when you go, okay, so right now you have it so I could have a sandbox, right?
Yes,
Okay?
you have sandboxes,
Yeah.
right?
Right, okay, or I can go to last year's course and pull out some content, okay? Is there an easier way to do that here than there is presently?
The copy experience is still the same. So if you want to copy like an
Right.
assignment from a previous course, it's still the same steps.
Okay,
And then,
and then
yeah,
course tools or instructor tools?
yeah,
Okay.
course admin and then,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, so when you copy a course, everything from a previous course that's been using the previous content experience is still going to work seamlessly within the new content experience.
Right.
It's just going to be the way that you interface with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is on the units. So how, right now, we are putting all of the graded items as specific categories, as assignments and all that, so that it gets connected right into the grade book, right? So is there another way now where whichever of the units that I have can still be connected right into the grade book without having to go through the process where we have categories and all of that?
Oh, like if you're adding content.
Yeah, like if I have, because like you said, if I have assignments, I can just put it in the assessments there. How is that gonna get connected to the grade book automatically?
Yeah, so if you create a new assignment from the content page,
Which is the same page.
if you select this grade out of field here and give it some points, it will
Yes.
automatically add it to the grade book.
Yeah, so we
When you're
still have
creating
to,
it.
we still have to create our categories in
Mhm.
the grade book so that each of that can be identified
Yes.
and connected.
Yes, yeah, there will still need to be all of
Yes,
those.
because
items.
otherwise, like, yeah, I'm lost, like, how is that going to be
Right.
recognized by the grade book if you just keep adding units,
Mhm.
but you're not putting it into a category in the
Yes, yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
yes.
I have a few questions. In the past, a lot of my students have on the home page of a course, been able to see the calendar of due dates, and a lot of them just use that.
Mhm.
Is that still
Yes, that will still be there. All the due
Okay.
dates will still be on the calendar. Mhm.
okay? I noticed on the availability dates and times, it's just going to be a due date, not a time. I mean, generally, it's going like 11:59 on the day that it's due.
Yeah.
But I
there's-
don't know if anyone ever needs to have it, has to be in by 9 PM or something like that. I don't see that that's an option on this new one.
For due dates, you can add times. They don't show up on this table of contents. They'll show up over here. Sorry.
So the short version, when you view it, it doesn't show the long one, but I think as you just hovered over that to the left-hand side in the content experience.
But
over
when
here.
you're creating a new assignment, it
Yes.
looks like under the availability, when you're clicking on that, it only
Oh.
has date due.
No, you can provide a time for that as well.
If you click in here,
And
it'll add a time.
When you click on the due date, it actually
Yeah,
Okay,
provides you.
perfect, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
And my third question, then how do we upload files like from our computer? Was that on that, to create new?
If you
Well, so you wouldn't create something new if it's already existing, right? So if you have a
But it's
file
not-
on your
if it's not-
computer,
Okay,
so actually if you cancel out of here, you can actually just drag and drop that right into your content
Okay.
on the left, or if you go add existing, There's a big box at the bottom that allows you to drop files in there, or you can click and browse to find the file you
Okay,
want.
that's that was confusing. I
Yeah.
didn't know if it already had to be in my fire to be in that added listing. Okay,
No, it's
perfect.
if it can be something that's existing in MyFire, or it can be something that's just already an existing presentation or document that you might have. Yeah.
And I've got a request. And
Yeah.
if maybe just me, in the grade book, one thing that, if you can go to like a grade, is there like a grade page setup kind of thing in there? Okay, one thing that I've always, I love to be able to put how many points, not just the percent that they earned. And on every single assignment, I have to go in it, I have to edit it, I have to go down and scroll through and say, yes, show points. I have to do that for every single assignment. Is there a way to create a bulk edit for that? Because it doesn't even carry over, I don't think, semester to semester when I'm teaching the same course and just updating things. I like being able to see how many points. Well, 75% was
The
that
view.
a 10-pointer or was that at a 100-pointer? So is there any way to create a
set up
bulk
with-
edit?
If I may, can we talk to you after the
Yeah, sure.
session?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's other things that are super exciting that we would like. to
Gotcha, okay. That's
Make
what I
sure
would-
that we're able to show, and I'll connect
Sounds
with you
good.
directly after.
Sounds good, thank you.
Any other questions?
She had a question. You had a question?
So I'm not seeing any of these new functions in my class.
Yes, these are not live yet. This is coming in the spring. So in the spring semester, yes.
I would be lost too.
This is to just get you pumped up.
Yeah,
Like,
just
oh,
to
I'm
make sure you
excited
guys
for
are
that.
ready, so it's not a big surprise when it comes.
I know you need to go on, but quickly, how I cannot delete a grade if I made a mistake and labeled it wrong or something. I cannot get it out of the grade book, and students will see that, and it confuses students. So there's got, if there isn't, there has to be a place where I can delete that grade, all right, out of the grade book.
There is,
handle that
We
can show you.
can show
All
you
right,
that,
okay.
yeah.
3-finger swipe.
This way?
Yeah.
I'm learning things too. All right, we're gonna move on to something a little bit different. This is a new tool that this is actually available to you right now. So if you want to go take a look, this is something that you guys can do today. So this is Creator Plus. So Creator Plus allows instructors and course creators to build engaging and interactive learning materials directly in MyFire. So this is with the goal of improving engagement, simplifying grading and reporting. So let's take a look at some of these tools. So Creator Plus Elements. Elements allow instructors to add dynamic components with a user-friendly authoring experience that does not require HTML coding knowledge or experience. So basically what that means is if you want to create course content in your course that's a little more interactive, that requires students to click on certain buttons to reveal text or something like that, something with a little more graphics, this is what would allow you to do that. So this has tools such as accordions, tabs, click and reveals, call outs, timelines, stylized quotes, flip cards, carousels, and hotspots. And we'll show you what each of those look like in just a minute, but just knowing that these are a little bit more interactive, get students more engaged than just scrolling and reading some written content. Creator Plus practices, these allow instructors to create formative and interactive learning activities to let learners test their comprehension and get immediate feedback on their understanding. So for example, these would be things like drop-down fill-in-the-blank questions, fill-in-the-blank questions, multi-select questions, multiple choice, sequencing, sorting, and true or false. And so these are going to be non-graded questions, so there's not going to be a grade item for these, but just kind of to get them to kind of test themselves on their knowledge. Maybe it would be used for prepping for an exam or doing a review at the end of a lesson. And again, we'll show you these in just a minute. And Creator Plus layouts, these layouts allow instructors to create panels that add structure and help organize course content. So kind of like if you're in a Word document and you want to add columns to the document that you're working in, layouts are very similar. It will allow you to add 2 or 3 columns to the page that you're adding in your course if you want to make the content a little more visually dynamic, just to catch their attention, catch the students' attention, and keep them engaged. So some options for layouts would include 2 equal panels or 2 equal columns, a 2/3, 1/3 panel, so a bigger chunk and a smaller chunk, or a smaller chunk and a bigger chunk for 1/3, 2/3 panel, or 3 equal panels. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like.
Awesome. So this is going to be something that, again, if you're not sure what many of those things are, that's totally okay. As a former person who supported instructors in the classroom, it was always difficult to try and uplift courses to make them a little bit more engaging. The problem is that you needed coding skills. And this was 5 years ago, and I was like, I don't have the coding skills to be able to do it. I'd be going on to W3 schools or some other things to learn how to build these interactives, and it would just take a lot of time and coding experience. Creator Plus takes all of that coding experience and says, you don't need to know it because we know it. And so we're going to help you do those. And I just want to show you what Kylie has already created just to showcase what these different 3 things are. So the big 3 components of Creator Plus are those elements, practices, and layouts. Visually speaking, I'm going to start with layouts because I think it's a nice little payoff here. What we can see here is the ability to frame up through different panels, the ability to really change the way that content is displayed on the page. Now, what does that look like when you go in to edit that? In the edit page, wherever you are, so if you're in the classic content, you go into an edit page, you will see these tools right here, this little authoring tool. I'm going to zoom in on it just so you can see it's a little paintbrush, because that's really what this allows you to do, is paint like an artist without having the skills of an artist. And that's what I appreciate.
So can you show me how you got to the first part of the page?
So the first part of the page, well, if you're in the classic content, you're just going to come in and edit that page. So in the new content experience, I'm just going to click this little ellipsis here and click edit. So it might say edit HTML or edit page for you.
I got it, I see.
And then you should end up having inside, this is our Brightspace editor. I'm just going to jump to full screen just so I can have a little bit more of a visual here. But up in the top, you should have this little icon that looks like a paintbrush and a pencil. It's for our Creator Plus authoring tools. And you can select from either inserting elements, practices, or layouts. To create these layouts, it's simple and easy. You select the layouts, you select which type of paneling you want, so whether that's 1/3, 2/3, or 3 equal panels, it provides them to you, and then you can put in all the content that you want. So maybe I want some text, maybe I want inside here a link to an assignment, so, or actually maybe I'll, so that one we'll do a little quick link to an assignment. Right? And then over here, I could upload an image if I wanted to through all of the same tools that I would currently, I'm not going to search through your laptop, don't worry. But let's say I also made that decision, I'm like, you know what, I don't want that to be 3 columns, I want it to be 2 columns. Well, along the bottom here, you actually see we can easily shift that to just being a 2-column layout and change the way that these layouts operate on the page. Now, one of the beneficial parts about this is that these are responsive to the page size that you're looking at. So if a learner is on a cell phone, they're not going to have that kind of that panel look. What happens as the screen size shrinks, they actually start stacking on top of one another. So they're actually built with instructional design principles in mind. Now that's layouts. If you're looking for what those elements and practices are, we don't have time to show you all of them today, but your excellent team here that supports MyFire can help you with all of those. Now, these are the examples of what these different elements look like. So these are the examples of basically when you come in, and I'll show you this maybe first. When you come in and click on that insert elements, you're presented with a number of these pre-coded elements where you can choose which of these you want to bring into your content to uplift the experience for a learner. Because we know block text is not always fun. Right? I studied physics in university. Reading through paragraph upon paragraph upon paragraph, well, you get lost in there, right? So these allow you to chunk up that learning material into better ways to help with that, not being overwhelmed with with all the text on the page. So if you're looking at, you might be able to group these types of items into accordion tabs, or simple tabs that allow a learner to go through and select through a horizontal tab. There's also a format for vertical tabs. A click and reveal to learn more about a topic by hiding that information initially and then revealing it at the appropriate time based on the learner's engagement. Callouts, what those do is it allows you to really focus in on a type of text. So here you've got a scripture verse from 1 Chronicles, which is awesome. And then you've also got other aspects to show visually, again, steps along a process, or if you're looking at this one here, a little type of creation timeline through a lot of the biblical text. And then you've also got some additional pieces, right? So you've got some flip cards that allow you to, again, hide text, make it a little bit more interactive. Now these can also be used with visual media as well. So if you want to have images inside here, right? There's a lot of these different components that are extremely helpful for learners to gauge their own learning, but not just be passive in their learning process. Now the way to create these, and I'm actually just going to come up to my SEU worship page here, because this is really boring text. Would you all agree? Might not be boring, but it's boring to look at. And so all I have to do when I come into this is select the text I want. And maybe what I'd like to do is actually take that first paragraph of text and turn that into a call out. Well, what I'm going to do is select that drop down, insert my elements, and I'm going to select from a call out. Now I do have 4 different formatting options where I can select from either if I want it to show no icon at all on the side, doesn't have to, but I can choose from some pre-formatted text. I'm going to use Jumbotron because it really provides a contrast between the text and what I'm showing on here. Before I paste that text in, can anyone guess what I can also include inside here? Rachel can. What can I include inside here? I can include layouts. So if I do want to bring in those layouts into these different pieces, I certainly can. If I wanted to have an image of SEU worship in there, I could have that on the left tab and then have that inside. Nice part about this is I'm going to just preview this up, and that's what that will look like. So it's no longer just that piece of text. I can actually make that into a call out like that. As long as you can fill out a form, you can use Creator Plus to create any of those different resources. So if you're thinking of a flip card is just as easy to do. You come into that Creator Plus authoring tool, you insert the element, you select the flip cards, and then you follow through basically what's in this step for you on the form, right? You can give different learner instructions. You can come in and provide what you want on the front of the first flip card. So if I want to give this title 1, very creative, right? And here's content 1, and I'll say it's on the front. Flip to the back of the card, and now I have what I want to put on the back. You'll notice very easy to add images if you so choose, and then you can also add more flip cards along there. So if I want to create 3 flip cards in a row, I can easily do that. You want a second row of flip cards? Come down to the bottom, add a row, add more flip cards. Very easy to do. And again, this is something that I would never have been able to do on my own if I didn't have this tool, right? And I loved to learn and figure out the code. Imagine if you had a code and then you had to add 1 more flip card. I used to try and do that with accordions, and I would break it. I'd break the whole page, and I'd have to restart all over again. And if that's happened to any of you, you know that pain, right? This allows you to do this in a risk-free way because you don't have to do any of the coding.
And you said this is not this next semester.
No,
I
this
believe
is
that's
right
available
now.
to you now.
Yes, this is available.
Because I'm
to you
not
now.
seeing it in.
It might need to be distributed to some of those courses, but
We can help
they
you
can
find
help you
it.
get that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, the other interesting thing about this is the ability to use practices. And practices, as Kylie mentioned, are going to be those formative assessment style of questions. Let me just save and close this page for a quick second, and then I'll come back to it. But practices are going to essentially allow you to knowledge check students based upon some question types that we already have existing. So these practices can be embedded right in the learning context. It's not a quiz. They don't have to pop out somewhere else. But you can have things like drop down fill in the blanks. You can have the fill in the blank questions. And as learners are going through, they can check their understanding, check their answers, get real-time feedback. Each of these responses can have feedback if you so choose. And then that learner can see how they did. And the nice part about this as a learner is not threatening because it's not tied to a grade item. I get to click try again, wipes out my answer, and I get to keep going forward until I'm ready to move on with confidence. So it's a very low stakes environment for testing out your understanding. So I'm gonna say, oh no, that's not, come on. I was born like 2 minutes from Michigan, so there we go.
Just a really tiny quick question.
Sure.
So when we go in and look at like a student's progress in the course or their activity, will we be able to visually see that they've attempted these practices in that same field or that window?
That's a good question. So with these, no, you won't be able to.
Okay.
There are some administrator data sets that you can pull for those, but these ones were meant to be something that was intentionally not available for that.
I'm just thinking in the context of like, you know, students who are having a hard time, or we want to be able to prove that they have or haven't been like putting forth effort, being able to see like, have they done these practices and things.
Yeah.
But if administrative access can see it, maybe in those special cases, we can partner to look at it.
Yeah, so what we've also heard of some faculty asking their students to do is as they've gone through and say, you know, put these different things in the right order. I know that's not the right order. Check my answers. Once they've got their response that they're satisfied with, they can always just come through, take a little screenshot of that, and then send that in either as an assignment or to their instructor in order to really get that data or have the conversation, right? Because oftentimes it's not really about, do I want this to be the graded item? It's how do I have a conversation with you to support your learning? And oftentimes the nice part about this is that learners can just try that again and continue to move forward. And if your assessment questions at the end or at the end of the unit are similar in scope to, or similar in nature to these types of questions, they're probably more likely to use them in the learning process than not.
Can you add images to those questions?
You can, yes. So very similarly, when you're going in to edit these, and I think I actually did edit one already, one thing I will show you is inside that page. And this is the last thing I'll show you with Creator Plus because I know we're moving on to our last little section. When you come in to add these in, with insert practices, you might notice this little Lumi sparkle on the side, which shows you that you can actually generate these practice questions from your course content, but you don't actually have to put in the question itself. You can fill out this form and create your question, or you can generate that question using our AI tool that's built into Creator Plus, and all it does is looks at the text that you have on this page. So it's respecting the great work that you've already put into content, rather than having it just be something that is pulling from the web somewhere else. Okay? We can generate that question. It'll auto-generate the question, the responses, and then also put it right into the context of the learning for learners. There we go. There's our question, and we can simply go to the bottom and insert that. The great part about that is once the AI has made that for you, it's still editable. So you don't have to just blindly accept it. You can modify it as needed. And that's actually how all of our AI tools work, which is a great segue into our next section.
Yeah, so Lumi is a new AI tool that is coming to MyFire. This is also going to be something available to you in the spring, but we just want to introduce you to it now so that you're prepared for when it comes. Mostly you'll be able to notice where Lumi is in the course. Like David was saying before, those little sparkle icons, I don't know exactly what the technical term is, but those icons in MyFire will indicate that there is Lumi going on with that tool. So Lumi is an AI tool in MyFire, allows instructors to create course content for assignments, discussions, quizzes. There's still a lot that we are exploring as our team as well, so we'll be able to share more with you in this coming semester and also when you guys get access in the spring. So an example of using Lumi when building assignments and discussions, with Lumi there's an option to generate 3 to 5 possible ideas or prompts for an assignment or a discussion. So what Lumi does is it looks at the content that is on your pages in MyFire and it reads that, and then it will generate 3 to 5 ideas. So it's not a complete assignment or discussion instructions. It doesn't give like page requirements or word requirements, but just kind of a general idea, a good place to get you started if you need ideas for new assignments or discussions in your course. And if you decide to use an idea, it will insert that idea into your instructions field, and then you can make whatever edits you would like. So if you like one little part of the idea, you can leave that and then change the rest of it. There's also the option to build quiz questions with Lumi. So in a similar way, Lumi can read the content in your course and it will generate some questions for you in your question library. Currently you can do multiple choice, true or false, written response, short answer, and multi-select questions. Doing these, you might get various results on the quiz questions based on the amount of source material that you have in your course. We found it to be pretty helpful in all of our exploration so far. And then there's also an option to generate course content from a file. So if you have something like a lesson plan or a learning resource that you use frequently and you want to upload that content as maybe its own unit or module, if you upload a file, Lumi will take that content and kind of format it into its own unit. And we can show you what all of this looks like in MyFire.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do is probably start with the most exciting part, which is creating content. And then from that content, we'll be able to very quickly create an assignment and quiz questions all within 5 minutes. So if you can imagine that, that's what I'm tasked with right now because I see the 5-minute counter coming up. So here's what we're gonna do. That's my task right now. Okay, ready? Okay, I'm gonna rapid fire through this. So I'm gonna go to create new in the new content experience, and you notice I have that Lumi sparkle that tells me I can generate unit from a file. I have two options. I can import a pre-written unit that's in a Word document file, or I'm gonna use a PowerPoint presentation that I created this morning just for this purpose. So where did that go to? It's on the desktop. Yeah, there we go. So I made something based on SCU worship because, again, that's what I was excited for. And so I've loaded in my PowerPoint, and it's going to help me to build Brightspace or MyFire content in a nice editable way. Because as we know, PowerPoints aren't always editable, and I make a change, I've got to delete it and re-upload it. So what it's done here is actually said, all right, based on your presentation, here's what Lumi is suggesting as these content pages. If I'm satisfied with that, I can just select all of them and go into generate that content. I can change the titles of these. I can select that I don't want certain ones of these, but I'm just going to click to generate content. And right, what Lumi's doing in the background now is taking that content from my PowerPoint, making it into content pages that will be all editable by me. So it might take a few seconds to generate in, but you'll see these blue lines start filling in saying, yep, it's generating them, and now I'm ready to proceed to go to view them. Because with all of our AI tools, we are not saying we're going to automatically create all of your content with no review process. We are going to make sure that it is being reviewed by a human in the end. And here we go. So there we go, saving, pending review, and you can see all of those are now ready. I'm going to proceed into my content and see what it created for me. Now it created me an entire unit here, and all of these are showing that these are hidden, but as I log it, or if I look at my first content page, what I end up getting is some of the content that was directly from that presentation, as well as some of the images that were brought in from that presentation, all in a way that is now editable to me, and then I can go in and uplift this content using those Creator Plus tools. That deserves a round of applause. Now, it also created all of these for me, right? So all of them are hidden until I go in and review that AI content. And I can say, yes, I'd like to review it, or I can edit it and then make sure that those changes are appropriate for my learners. Now, from this content experience as well, what I can also then do is come in and create, say, a new assignment or a discussion. And when I create that assignment, you'll notice that Lumi Sparkle is there again to help us generate assignment ideas. What I can do is select from a number of these ideas, as Kylie had mentioned. I can even select a level of Bloom's taxonomy if I'd like to, or I can leave it generic. And then I'm going to select from the content that I just created So that introduction and maybe the musical style and creative vision, generate an idea for me, and that's going to go through all the content that I just told it to go through, those 2 content pages, and it's going to suggest for me 3 different options for an assignment idea. You can see how quickly that happens, and I can easily come in, select which one I'm ready for, insert it, and now this assignment idea has now become editable in that location. I've got 2 more minutes, and I'm going to go through the content version, or sorry, the quiz questions. Quiz questions are very similar. I'm going to remember where I go, and I go to our course admin and our quizzes. Quizzes, there we go. And we're going to do that from our question library. And you'll notice again, this beautiful Lumi Sparkle where we can come in and generate questions based on our course content. I can select which content I want it to choose from. So in this case, I'm going to go right to that same page that I just created. Let's do 3 multiple choice questions. We'll actually go to that whole, we'll go to the remember level of Bloom's taxonomy and generate. Again, what it's doing, looking just at the content that I created as an instructor, right? So Lumi helped me create that content. Now Lumi's helping me generate questions based upon that, allows me to go in and review them. And I can either say, all right, yep, based on this question, I'm satisfied with this. I'll keep it, move on to the next one. You know what? I don't actually like the way that this one looks, so I'm just going to make a small edit to it. And then I'll keep it, move on to the next. And then finally, I don't like this. You know what? I'm fine with. Or you know what? I don't like this one at all. I'm just going to discard that one. I've reviewed one, I've edited one, and I can save that into my question library, directly able to now be used inside my quizzes. So Lumi is able to, in under 5 minutes, create new content, create assignments, and create quiz questions. Scene.
All right, so yes, just a little. So those are all of the new things that are going to be coming soon. So the new content experience and Lumi are going to be coming in the spring. Creator Plus is available to you right now. As always, we are here if you would like some extra or further training on these tools, or if you ever have any questions, please reach out to us. We are happy to walk you through any of this. And yeah, does anyone have any follow-up questions? Yes, I do. I don't have it.
Okay. I have a link tree that has a video on this, what we just talked about. There's a sign-up form if you guys would like to talk more about the changes that are happening. There's a little cheat sheet in there, but there's some really good resources in here. And we also want to highlight the new Fire Faculty Tech Toolkit that our colleague Tracy over in the back here has created for you guys to be able to implement more technology within your courses. She is here to help you with that generation and get them ready for you and your courses. So that course is also linked out in this link tree that I have on my phone, and her contact information as well.
Question.
Yes.
Just in general for the D2L. Is there at some point going to be a feature that is equivalent to Turnitin that can evaluate whether a submitted material is AI generated or not?
So built into the platform natively,
Yes.
probably not. But with third-party partners who specialize in that content, we actually do support some of those. Those would be things institutionally that you'd have to make decisions on, but we would rely on partners to perform checks like
We're doing
that.
with several vendors right now. It's about cost.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So it's
Sorry. No, you're good.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a QR code. It was-
Am I able to access this one too?
Yeah.
Or is this like
Yeah, you
just
go
for
it.
just for you all?
No, you can.
Fine, you can.
Yeah, make sure you guys see this.
Give me special access. Nice. Love it.
Thank you. At the first part, I didn't know, like when I first started.
Thank you guys, and we're here if you guys have questions. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.